Okay, so I'm at the end of my stitching. This is my 6th signature. I'm ready to do my last stitch. Before I do that, I want to make sure that I tighten my stitches. So again, I'm pulling in the direction of my stitching. I'm going to exit out through the last hole. And I'm going to do my last kettle stitch. So I'm going to push my needle in right between those 2 signatures, rock it through, and loop through that last stitch. Now, you're going to end this the same way you began it. So make sure that your stitches are tight. You're going to pull your cord across, grab a little piece of masking tape, which I should have done before. There we go. So grab a little piece of masking tape. I like to pull it across at a diagonal. You can pull it straight across if you want. It doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure that it's not too close to the edge of your paper. Put your tape down. The only other thing to be concerned about, make sure that you don't have tape showing here because this is an exposed spine binding and we want it to be neat and pretty. You just cut that off. So now I'm done with the stitching part. I'm going to put my needle away. I'm going to take my little scrap of leftovers here. And your book block is done. So it's all stitched together. It looks like I flipped one of my signatures. I don't really care because, again, art. You've got that nice staggered look on the edges. And I'm going to use a binder clip just to hold my pages closed, just like that, while I work on the book cover. So for your book cover, you need 2 pieces of book board. I buy book board the same size as my drawing paper, which is 9 by 12, and then I cut it in half. I measure, I use a steel ruler, and I score with an X-Acto blade or a utility knife. Don't try and cut through it all in one go, otherwise you end up with a raggedy edge. So here is my book board. I'm going to move my book cover out of the way. The art paper that I have selected for this book, since I was wrapping it all in black, is this paper. I think this also came from Dick Blick. You can also order some really beautiful papers on Amazon. I'm sure there's some on Etsy as well. The one thing that you do need to make sure of is the measurements, because a lot of times you'll find a really good price on art paper, and what you're really getting are tiny little pieces that are business card size. And those are fine, especially if what you're making is, you know, a miniature book, or if you're going to use them for collage. But if you're not using them to collage something, it's really kind of ridiculous. Now, here's something that I like to do. Not everybody else does, but I kind of like to mix and match my papers. Now, this front piece with the skull feels like it is a little bit heavier than this back piece. So I think I'm going to alternate the covers. So I've got a theme here. So it's black and gold. And I'm going to use the lighter weight of the black and gold papers. I love art paper. I'm a paper hoarder. I have been my entire life. I absolutely adore it. So I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to set it aside. I think I'm going to do skulls on the front because I adore them. So this is where you're going to get out your glue stick. So you want to make sure that your art paper is about an inch bigger than your book board all the way around. Okay? So just like that. And then you want to glue the entire sheet of cardboard. I put it on top of my art paper. So my art paper is pretty side down. Protect that image. And I'm going to use my giant glue stick. Remember, size doesn't matter. It's how you use it. I just like them big. Saves me time. Okay? And we're going to glue all the way around the edges. Now in my classroom, I usually use the purple glue sticks that dry clear, just because it makes it easier for my students to see where they've put the glue down, okay? Do not let them cheat. They will want to cheat. Do not be lazy. Lazy here equals ugly later, okay? So glue all the way around, pick it up, flip it over, center it on your paper, and then just iron it down into place with your fingers. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. We want the paper to be firmly attached all the way across the surface of the cardboard. We don't want to just glue around the edges and then have that paper be puffy. It's a little gross feeling. It's like having extra loose skin. So before you do anything else, you want to pre-fold your paper, especially if you're using a heavy art paper. This is a natural handmade paper, so it's about the same weight as the watercolor, but it's a little more fibrous. So you want to start by folding in the corners. When you fold the corners in, be careful that you don't puncture your art paper with the corner of the book board. So pull it over. You want to see that nice 90-degree angle, okay? And then use your thumb, or if you have cat lady nails, you can use a bone folder. And you really want to work that crease, and you want to fold that paper right up against the edge of the cardboard. I am going to go back and glue that down, but I have found that pre-folding these not only saves you time on the other end, but it really makes for a much neater cover. And if you start well and finish well, people will forgive what's in between. So fold, 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 fold. Okay, don't go crazy with it. It's not like that. We want to pull it directly over on a good diagonal. We want really nice, sharp corners. I want to make sure that that paper is all the way flush right up against the edge of the cardboard without the cardboard going through it. So I'm going to use my bone folder. By the way, my bone folder is not bone. I think it's nylon. I'm a vegetarian, so the idea of a bone folder that's actual bone kind of grosses me out, to be honest. You do you. Okay, you can use all kinds of things in place of a bone folder, including a fake bone folder. Okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to glue these corners down. Now remember when I said that people don't always learn how to use their tools correctly? Well, glue is one of those tools. So here's the thing that most people don't know about glue, and that is that glue sticks to glue. If you've ever tried to glue something down, paper to cardboard, glass to glass, it doesn't matter, whatever you were gluing, glue sticks to glue. So I have glue on the corner of the paper and I have glue on the cardboard. And because I have pre-creased all of that, now I just have to fold it back over and rerun those creases. So I've glued all four corners. Just kind of using the back of my thumbnail here to burnish those down. And now I'm ready to do my big folds, okay? Now, when you go to fold this, there's a trick. You need to do opposite sides, okay? So top and bottom, and then side to side, or side to side and then top to bottom. It doesn't matter. You do you, boo-boo. But you need to do opposite sides. That's going to help you keep the tension even. The other trick is that don't try and grab it and fold it up, because we've already increased the thickness of this paper that we're trying to fold by doubling it up here on the corners. So pick up your whole piece of book board and stand it up right against the tabletop, whatever your work surface is, and let that help you with the crease, okay? So again, I'm just going to hold it in place. I'm going to run the edge of my boneless bone folder right against it. I'm going to spin it around and do the other side. Grab it at the bottom, rock it up, get that crease really sharp against the table. Now, a lot of people will insist that you have to use PVA glue and a glue brush when you're making book covers. But if you do that, the glue has a higher percentage of water in it than the glue stick does. And what happens is that your book board covers can warp, okay? And I shouldn't even say can warp, they will warp, like every single time. If you just laminate, they will warp. So I prefer to use a glue stick for this. So the same way that we did the corners, I'm going to put glue on the cardboard, glue on the paper. I'm going to grab it from the center and pull it up really tight. I'm going to use the back of my thumbnail to burnish that down. And right now, I'm not going to worry about any glue that squeezes out of the corners because this whole surface is going to get glued down to the book block. Okay, so that's the top or the bottom, I don't know. It's the skinny side. How about that? And I just left a big glue booger on the table. Pull, fold, burnish, crease, okay? Really get it down. These are the little details that will really make your book. Remember, finishing well. Okay, so you can see that is the cover. Top and bottom are done. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to repeat that same exact process on the long sides. I'm going to pick up my book, use the table to perfect that crease, turn it around, perfect the crease on the other side, crease, 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 and now I'm ready to glue. La, 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 la. Okay, pull it up from the center. That's going to help you keep it even. And what we're looking for is we want really nice, sharp edges on our book cover, and we want corners, okay? Your book cover should have 4 sides and 4 corners. If it has 8 sides and 8 corners because you didn't pre-crease this, that's a little sloppy. I may not call you names for it, but I will definitely think them at you. Okay, more glue, more glue. Again, always grab it from the middle, pull that up. That's going to help you keep all of your tension even across your paper. Pull, pull, pull. You can use, actually I'm going to use, this is my dirt cheap hack. I like to use the flat, I like to use the barrel of a Sharpie for flattening things and burnishing things. For some reason, I end up with hundreds of brown Sharpies in my classroom. Nobody ever uses the brown Sharpies, so I use them for burnishing tools, okay? So here is the cover. Isn't that lovely? Now, I like to add more to my covers. I like to collage on top of them. Again, you do you. I'm going to show you how to attach the cover, and then I'll go ahead and make the second one, okay? So here's my book block. Here's my cover. I like to open up my book block all the way so it's belly down, okay? So I've just opened it up. I am going to cover this entire surface, this top black page, in glue. Okay, I'm not gluing the cover. This book board is just a little bit taller than my book. And again, that's because not all manufacturers can measure accurately, apparently. So, and we're going to glue the whole thing. And be generous here, because this really is what's holding your cover on to your book. So once I've got most of that done, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close my book block, try and grab just that top sheet, and I like to run the glue right to the edge. You don't want any gaps between the cover and the spine. That is going to be the weakest part naturally, and so you want to make sure that you glue it down really securely. Okay, same thing with the edge there. Then all you have to do, take that thoroughly glued page and your cover, and I usually stand up to do this so that I can get right over the top of it, because I like to make sure that it's really centered. So I'm going to turn it like this. I'm going to take that top page and I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to eyeball. Just embrace the wabi-sabi of it. Bum, bum, bum. Get rid of the glue boogers. That looks pretty good. Okay, and now you can use your bone folder, scooch it down. Again, I really prefer using a Sharpie barrel. It just works for me. Get all of that paper all the way down, close it up, and give it a good push. Okay, now we're ready to make the back cover and attach it. And after we do that, we're just going to clip it with a binder clip to help hold it together while it dries. All right, back in a flash with the back cover.